Hi, Mighty Mommy here, and I'm ready to share some quick and dirty parenting tips with you that will help make your life as a parent a little bit easier and a lot more fun. I'm your host, Cheryl Butler. The entire world is buzzing with joy and excitement at the announcement of the royal baby's arrival on July 22nd. The Duchess of Cambridge, Kate Middleton, and her husband, Prince William, Duke of Cambridge, are now the proud parents of a healthy baby boy. Their precious bundle is obviously going to have a very different upbringing than the millions of other babies born at the same time. But one thing the future King of England does have in common with other newborns is his immediate needs. Needs for eating, sleeping, oodles of diaper changes, and of course, being cuddled and loved. While new parents drift along on cloud nine after their babies first arrive, many soon begin to feel overwhelmed about how they will care for newborn baby once they leave the hospital. Mighty Mommy has experienced the bliss and pure craziness of bringing home a newborn 8 times. In part 1 of this series, I'll give you 5 tips to help you transition from the hospital to home with your new arrival. Your baby's home coming from the hospital or adoption agency or foster home is a major event. To make this first journey as stress-free as possible, keep these things in mind. Tip number 1, leaving the hospital. Pack a comfortable and seasonally appropriate outfit for both you and baby in the hospital bag. If you've just delivered, choose something roomy and non-constricting so you'll be comfortable when you leave the hospital because you're not going to be back to your pre-pregnancy shape for several weeks at least. For baby, take care not to overheat him with too many layers, unless of course it's winter and cold, in which case you'll need a snowsuit, a hat to keep his head warm, and an extra blanket. If you haven't already made the arrangements with your baby's healthcare provider, make sure to ask when the baby's first checkup should be scheduled before you leave the hospital. Take your time when leaving and don't feel rushed before all your questions are answered, especially if it's your first newborn. Most hospitals and pediatricians' offices have warm lines available for new parents to call 24/7 with questions and concerns about breastfeeding, formula intake, bathing, umbilical cord care, and anything else you need to know. Tip number 2, baby's first car ride. The most important item for the trip home, besides your new bundle of joy, is a proper child safety car seat. Every state requires parents to have one before leaving the hospital because it's one of the best ways to protect your baby. Even for a short trip, it's never safe for one of you to hold your baby in your arms while the other drives. Your baby could be pulled from your arms and thrown against the dashboard in an instant if you have to make a quick stop. Practice installing your car seat before your baby is even born. Some of them can be tricky, and the last thing you want is to be fussing with the car seat while holding your newborn out in the hospital parking lot. There are 2 kinds of car seats for babies: infant-only seats, which are rear-facing and fit most infants comfortably, and convertible seats, which must face the back until the baby turns 2. That accommodate both infants and older children. I highly recommend also that you buy a head support, sold in the car seat section of the baby store, to cradle your newborn's delicate little head so it doesn't bobble side to side while he's so tiny. Keep in mind that most hospitals do require that you bring your car seat in so the staff can be sure it's safe for your baby before you leave the hospital. Tip number 3, have all comfort essentials ready before you come home. One of the most valuable lessons I learned from my new mommy friends was to have all the essentials for both the baby and myself prepared before leaving to deliver the baby. I always chose a corner in our family room to be my new baby station for the first couple of weeks. It was a nook with the following goodies to greet me when I came home. You're undoubtedly going to experience a storm of emotions as you prepare to leave the hospital. Don't underestimate things like diapers. You won't believe how quickly you go through newborn diapers during those first few weeks. Burp rags, swaddling blankets, extra baby nightgowns and onesies, a bassinet or a cradle along with extra sheets, bottles and formula. If you're breastfeeding, breast pads and nipple ointment, umbilical cord and circumcision care materials. Your favorite snacks, because you're going to be hungry. Other comfort items like a cozy bathrobe, magazines and books, in case you can actually pull off some reading. A donut pillow for seating during that first postpartum week. I couldn't live without mine. Notebook for recording feedings, bowel movements, etc. A baby album for recording all those firsts. your camera or smartphone with the charger for capturing all those first days at home. If everything is ready prior to your return with your new baby, you can arrive home and actually sit and relax without scurrying to find these essential items. Tip number 4, go with the flow. You are undoubtedly going to be experiencing so many different emotions as you prepare to leave the hospital and begin the journey of caring for your new baby alone without the hospital staff to guide you every step of the way. Try to carve out some alone time with your partner before heading home or soon thereafter so you can both appreciate this next stage of your life together as a brand new family. Share your excitement, concerns, and any other emotions or thoughts so that your significant other will feel like an important part of this new beginning as well. It will take time for you to feel comfortable with your baby's different cries or how to swaddle like the nurses did so effortlessly in the hospital. Feedings, especially for breastfeeding moms, can also be a source of anxiety. So don't get down on yourself if you feel awkward and unsure when you first come home. Babies can sense when someone around them is tense or nervous. So try to relax and go with the flow as you get to know this little new person. Study her sweet neck, her eyebrows, her chubby little knees. Take in that new baby smell. Lean on your spouse, your family, your friends, if they can help you out. And remember that your anxiety is completely normal. Before you know it, you'll be handling your role as a new mom with certainty and confidence. Tip number 5, introducing new baby to friends and family. A new baby causes quite a stir, and friends, family members, neighbors, and coworkers are all going to be vying for a time to come over and meet your little miracle. While this is perfectly wonderful and to be expected, it's wise to set up some ground rules in advance, especially if you're exhausted after having a C-section or a long and difficult labor and delivery. Don't be shy about limiting the number of guests at first. You'll be glad later on if you take some time now to rest and become comfortable with your new baby. Ask anyone who's ill to wait until they're feeling well and no longer contagious before they visit. You shouldn't hesitate to ask visitors to wash their hands before holding your baby because the newborn's immune system is not fully developed. And don't forget about your pooch or kitty, especially if this is your first baby. You'll want to introduce the baby to them as well. Your partner can bring a baby blanket home from the hospital to get your pet used to the baby's scent. Never leave the baby unattended with your pets until they are used to your new routine with the baby. My colleague, the dog trainer, has some wonderful tips about preparing your dog for the baby. Next week, in part 2 of this series, we'll discuss more about baby's feedings, bowel movements, sleep habits, and, of course, crying. What worked well for you when you brought your new baby home from the hospital? We'd love to have you share your thoughts in the comments section or post your ideas on the Mighty Mommy Facebook page. You can also connect with me on Twitter at Mighty Mommy or email me at mommy@quickanddirtytips.com. And don't forget, visit my family-friendly boards at pinterest.com/mightymommyqdt. Sure, bringing home a new baby can be overwhelming and stressful at times, but take a good look at that beautiful new bundle of joy and sit back and try and enjoy every single second because they grow oh so fast. Until next time, happy parenting.